Good morning, Vietnam. Welcome to the Box Office Dynasty. I'm your host, Josh.
And I'm Jack.
And we got I hope a great episode. You know, they always seem to be great, but
We always got great episodes.
definitely a less jam-packed episode today, which is all right. But we're here. We're going to talk about our latest Bible study movie that Jack just finished watching like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Being John Malkovich, going to be a really fun conversation. We're going to go over the box office numbers as always, and then I will solely talk about Bugonia, which is fine, except for the fact that Jack will literally be seeing it before this episode actually even comes out.
That is true. Seeing it tomorrow, folks. Listen, invite us to movie premieres, all right, guys? Come on. I could have been at the movie premiere.
I think this was a miscommunication of our scheduling.
Emma Stone could be my best friend if you just give me a chance, all right?
Emma Stone could be my best friend for any movie that she comes out with. Anyway.
Damn right.
So then we're going to talk a little bit about the full trailer we got for Stranger Things Season 5. Volume 1 of that season drops later this month, so that should be fun. And then, of course, we'll wrap up with Seesaw. So just another week episode in the life of the Box Office Dynasty.
Yeah, we always say it's going to be a chill one, and then it's just not. I mean, it's always chill, like fun, but it's always like, this will be a nice, mellow episode. And we either end up arguing or we talk for like 3.5 hours. Like, it's crazy.
I don't know if there's even really anything to argue about this week, though.
I'll find something.
Yeah, you're just going to try to rage bait me,
yeah.
rile me up somehow.
Wait till we get to Stranger Things. I'll go crazy.
It's not that hard, honestly. You know, I can admit that much. I'm not too big for that. You know, you can find a way, I'm sure.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, before we really get into all of that, there was some interesting news that I know we're excited about. I know some people out there are going to be excited about, especially our friend Ed. Oh. And that's the new announcement from Toho that we're getting a sequel officially to Godzilla -1 called Godzilla -0.
That is so hype. But hear me out. All right, what kind of details do we have on this? Because I'm
the
so
details.
Excited for this.
What we know so far is that this is supposed to be darker and larger in scale. That is how they describe it, which is hard to imagine based off of the first one.
Damn.
They're going to use CGI, miniatures, and suit motion, so all different kinds of both practical and visual effects being used for this film. And we are expecting a late 2026 global release.
Damn, that's a lot sooner than I thought.
So in time for the holidays of next year.
2026 is stacked, man.
Yeah, really.
You know,
it really is. And the holidays too.
Yeah,
are stacked.
It's going to be
2026 because we're staring at a potential Avengers Doomsday, Dune Messiah, and now potentially Godzilla -0. That could be one of the greatest months we've ever seen.
When's the Odyssey? Is that 2026 or 2027?
That's 2026. It's July.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah. I'm thinking about this title, Godzilla -0. I feel like that indicates that we're not getting a third. Because what are you going to do, -1?
Well, yeah, what it would be like Godzilla +1.
Yeah, like I feel like either we'll get a third, it's just going to be a totally different title. But, okay, this leads me to a question I have for you. I know this was a quick note thing, but it actually leads to an interesting thing about movies and subtitles. How do you feel about movies and franchises that do the similar subtitle? I'm talking like Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, -1, -0. I'm sure there's other examples that I can't think about where they have like the same theme in each subtitle.
Like, do I mind it?
Like, what do you think about that? Like, is that something that you like, oh, that's nice that they're keeping it, like, similar? Do you care at all? Is it something you don't even think about?
No, I don't know that I care. I think that, there are two very obvious, I guess, ways about it, doing that or reasons for it. One, you can have a reason for it narratively, like if you're going to do a consistent theme in the titles, if it's going to connect back into the actual films where it makes sense to stay consistent with the titles, I think that's really great. If you're just doing it for a style choice, okay, I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but it has less of an impact on me. I mean, unless it's a really cool style choice, but I mean, in this exact framework of it being a title or a subtitle, I'm not sure how you would amaze me that much where I'm like, wow, stylistically alone, this is just really cool for you to do.
You're
If that
right.
makes
Like,
sense.
yeah, I feel exactly the same way because I think the Spider-Man Home franchise is kind of like them just trying to piece it, just trying to connect it like that, just for
Mm.
fun. But I think a franchise that does it really well narratively is Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse. You know, that just makes sense for the story. I think that's a cool thing that they have. But yeah, I think you could do it either narratively or just do it for fun. And I like it either way. I like it.
Right, and I think if you even break that down, the Spider-Verse example, just to prove that we're not talking smoke out of our ass, look at it this way. The first film, Into the Spider-Verse, is his first kind of venture within this realm. He's learning that there's more than just his world, than his Spider-Man. Then the second one, Across, this is the first time he actually really ventures out of that world.
Hmm.
Like Into the Spider-Verse is him learning it, him kind of absorbing it, but the second one, Across, is him exploring the Spider-Verse. He goes to the different dimensions. We have the whole thing where he's in the Spider Society and everything. The third one, Beyond the Spider-Verse, what we can expect based on where Across the Spider-Verse ends, is going to break beyond these barriers of all the realities with what the Spot, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
going
shit's gonna be
around like
crazy, dude.
breaking it apart. I think that fabric is really going to get torn, and it's going to be beyond these one singular realities. And so I think when you look at it, what you bring up an interesting just conversation about the titles having consistency, having a theme throughout. With the Spider-Verse ones, that's how I see it playing across.
Hmm.
And I think it's pretty obvious what they're trying to do there. But yeah, that we see Miles' story across that Spider-Verse into Across Beyond, and it just makes sense. So
Yeah, and I think the Planet of the Apes movies fits that as well. You know, Rise, Dawn, War, Kingdom, like that's the same thing as that. Like narratively just fits. And I don't know, I thought it was fun to just it's a fun because I like when the creators have like this fun little it must be really fun to just think of a title, you know? Like that creative just like, oh, I can add this and oh, connect it to that. Like it just seems like a fun job.
well, I do wonder what the process is behind picking a title for a film, because it's not just solely on the creators, unfortunately, with this, especially something like a franchise like
Yeah.
Spider-Man or Planet of the Apes, where the studios are definitely going to have a say. They're probably going to do focus groups, and obviously they do focus groups and test screens for the actual film, but they probably do that for other things as well, like the title and different, aspects with the marketing. How does this come across? Which groups, would be interested in seeing the movie based on what we call it, this X,
Yeah,
Y,
you're
Z.
right.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah, obviously it's like really cool, but that makes me think about like, all right, not only are they doing this kind of narrative thing where it's like, all right, this is the rise of, the apes, and now the dawn of a new world, and now a war to fight for that world. Um, Part of that has to also be like, what are the key words that we can use here that make sense and grab people and stick with them like it does for you and I. So,
Yeah. There's a lot of rungs on that ladder going up to
yeah.
the top.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, really cool stuff. But anyway, Godzilla minus zero. That's really exciting, and especially because Godzilla minus one is my personal favorite Godzilla film of all time.
Me too.
I
No,
think a
yeah.
lot of people probably agree that this is just the pinnacle of, Godzilla's character and his story, and playing around in that sandbox.
Yeah,
So I'm very excited.
I've no doubt that Godzilla will be as cool as he was. I just hope the human story is as compelling as it was because that was the biggest standout. We all know Godzilla's awesome, but when I was invested in the human story, which I usually never am in Godzilla movies, that's how I knew that this movie was awesome.
And I do think that the use of the practical effects in Godzilla minus one, in the a lot of use of miniatures that they did to be able to create kind of this different feeling that you get from the Hollywoodization,
Yeah.
I'm making up words on the spot.
Hollywood position.
But yeah, the Hollywood izing of Godzilla.
Hmm.
Um I feel like it gets lost a little bit, like his uniqueness of his kind of approach to fear. And so I love that the creators of Godzilla minus one were able to kind of get that with their approach to actually crafting the film that they're going to then do in the sequel. Because you're not getting a whole lot of that. And we talked a lot about box office numbers, and people talk about how budgets, kind of balloon. And yet there are ways to make incredible films for cheaper. And this is proof of that. And so you're right, what made it stand out is the fact that you had such a scary Godzilla. And that's kind of what I was trying to ramble and get at, is such a scary Godzilla, intimidating Godzilla, that his fear serves in the story more than, some of the Warner Bros versions and
Uh-huh.
American versions. But you're right, it ties together with the human elements that were so genuinely connecting and heartbreaking. So I don't doubt, though, that they will be able to repeat all of that
Yeah.
in the
Very
second
excited.
one. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So let's move on. Let's talk about our Bible study film of the day. This episode.
Yes, sir.
Everyone knows how this goes, basically. But just for purposes of having up to date versions of us explaining the rules each week, even though the same people who see it will already know what we're doing. But
Yeah.
whatever. It's Bible study. We have a film Bible. It's the New York Times Book of Movies, Essential 1,000 Films to See. We pick one out of this book, given to us numbers 23 to through 1265, commented on our social medias by you, the listeners, the viewers, the people at home. And we watch the movie that corresponds to the random one we pick. This week, we watched Being John Malkovich, the Spike Jonze film that came out. When did it come out? 2001, I think. 2002.
1999.
Oh, 1999. Okay, a
Yeah.
couple of years before that. 1999, starring John Cusack, Cameron Diaz, and of course John Malkovich.
Yeah. And you were rewatching it, right?
This is a rewatch for me. I first saw this film 5 years ago. So this was a rewatch. Obviously, it had been 5 years, so some time has passed. I remembered it, but it was a really interesting kind of rejuvenation and reminder.
Yeah. Do you wanna review first, or you want me?
No, I kind of want to hear your first time take.
Okay. Well, let's just give our numbers first, though.
Oh, all right, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So
So
here
then you
are
go first.
reviews for Being John Malkovich. I give it 7.8 John Malkoviches out of 10.
I give it pretty close to your thing, but not just John Malkovich's. I give it a strong, like, I would say like 9.5 little Johnny Malkopees out of 10
Johnny
is what
Malkopy.
little Johnny
Well, yeah,
Malkopee.
you can't say the other things that they call him.
Yeah, no, I can't. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, I mean, this holds up well. But like I said, I would love to hear your thoughts first.
Yeah, this was really, if it's anything, it's interesting. It's definitely thought provoking. The acting, specifically John Malkovich, because you see John Cusack in this movie, and he's like a weirdo, or he's disgusting. He actually looked like he smelled like shit. Like the whole time, he looked like, I was like, damn, he definitely smells like shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
I do not believe that Craig Schwartz has ever taken a shower a day in his life.
he looked disgusting, but he had these specific mannerisms, the way he talked. And then when John Malkovich was portraying uh, John Cusack, he acted just like him. So I do want to give props to the acting. I thought the plot was very interesting, very slow at first. That's probably why I give it less credit than you. It took like 40 minutes for John Malkovich to even show up in the movie, or like 30 minutes. And I thought it was very slow at first. All the characters are kind of assholes, so I wasn't really invested until John Malkovich showed up. Uh, and the movie is just, for a psycho like analysis, otherworldly, dimension hopping, or like body swapping movie, it's very gray. and I thought just visually it looked like shit, and it was very gray and kind of boring and bland. But that's where my negatives come from. Just took a while to get in it, but when I was in it, I was in it, you know. And then it's very gray and boring looking.
I think that the visuals are a purposeful gray and boring. Like, I don't think it's supposed to be a film that's colorful and bright and shines out, because what this is really is like, what I love is like, all right, I don't even know where to begin. So I struggle with surreal films sometimes because they're so hard. Like, I'm a big analytical person with films, and it sometimes can be hard to just find a place to really grasp on and
Yeah.
truly dive into when it comes to such surreal films like this one. um because it's so out there, because it's such a crazy, concept that kind of plays with its own laws of physics and reality,
Uh-huh.
that other films, or obviously real life, don't tend with, and this one certainly being one of them. What's interesting is the whole puppet tier kind of theme going on,
Yeah.
because the whole film, really what it's about, and the reason why I love it so much, is because even though I do struggle sometimes to grasp onto those surreal films, this is one that upon rewatching 5 years later, I didn't struggle. Well, I did at first, I will give you that. The beginning is slow, it is a little difficult to get into. I don't know about 40 minutes, but definitely at least the first 20 or so minutes, I was like,
I checked.
you know.
He wasn't in 30 minutes in
But
the movie.
but that's not what I mean. I don't necessarily even mean like John Malkovich had to be in the movie. I knew
Oh,
he
that's what
doesn't
I was
show up.
waiting for.
I mean, I knew he didn't show up at first. I was just waiting for me to really remember what it was that I was so fascinated by with the
Uh-huh.
film. Like, it has that typical Charlie Kaufman kind of um off-putting feeling. Obviously, the whole 7.5 floor thing with the shortened roofs, that's part of it. It's
Yeah.
just kind of throwing the atmosphere off into this surreal world, this kind of uncomfortable place that doesn't feel like real reality. It's like an kind of an offshoot of reality. And so
Uh-huh.
this film, I think, is very effective with that. Um and like I was saying with the puppeteer thing, like, just this whole narrative idea about being in different bodies and playing around, like, with people, and the lust of having the attraction of that. It's
Very
so
eerie.
it is eerie, it's very grotesque, but it's interesting.
Uh-huh.
It's very Kaufman-esque. Like I said, he's the one who wrote this film. It's very much like something his type of work. Eerie's a good way of putting it,
Yeah,
really.
it's like and you said gross. It's gross. Like every time, I mean, but all the characters, Cameron Diaz, her like getting her sexual fantasies fulfilled and like thinking she's found her true self through this guy's body was just disgusting. And then the other guy being like, I'll have a woman fall in love with me if I'm in someone else's body was also so gross. And he likes the power he has when he controls people. That was disgusting. But when I say like I don't like it because it was gray, I think it's because I had expectations. I thought it would be really interesting if the world is gray and ugly and boring, and that's how they see it. But when they were in John Malkovich's body, it'd be colorful, and that was more also the like the why they want to be in his body because he sees the world differently and he sees the color and he sees the like you know what I mean. I thought that's why they purposefully made it gray and disgusting, but it just happened to be the whole movie, which isn't a huge deal, but that is like it
I
bothered me a
just
little
think that
bit.
the world was supposed to be like that. I mean, think about because we're not watching this film from John Malkovich's perspective. Technically, we're watching, like, the perspective of the protagonist of the film is Craig Schwartz,
Yeah.
and so, for him, this is what the world is, and I think
Uh-huh.
it's important that, sometimes those are the decisions that also go behind it. Is like, could you make this a more colorful film? Sure, you could, but I think that, while it's not the most visually appealing film, it's part of that building of an atmosphere where, he sees the world as gray and rainy and, desolate and hopeless. That's what motivates him. That's what makes him want to be a puppeteer because he feels like he is that grotesque part of the reality, and he wants to be able to step into other people's shoes and minds and control their lives because it gives him that thrill that's absent truly from his own life. And he states that at times in his own ways throughout the film himself. So that's why I think the visuals work. Are they gray? Yes, they're dampened, but because of our perspective, because of who we're following and the way he sees it, I think it adds to that atmosphere. It makes the whole thing work.
I know they tried to make Cameron Diaz look not as attractive, but they still expect us to believe that this like middle-aged puppeteer with no job and he probably smells like shit and he's ugly pulled Cameron Diaz as his wife and then he didn't like her? What is happening, dude?
Yeah, I
What is
know.
this
I
reality?
mean, and look, I'll give Catherine Keener her credit. I mean, Catherine Keener bad as hell. Also, do you know that that's the mother in Get Out?
Oh my god, no. I only know her as the mom from the Percy Jackson movies. I forgot she was in Get
Yeah.
Out.
She's been in 2 of our Bible study films now.
Wow. She's
Catherine
at the
Keener
top
is
of the list.
the star of this segment.
Yeah, I
But
forgot.
yeah, no, I mean, it is funny that like they do that, but I do think kind of making even Cameron Diaz grotesque looking is part of just his warped kind of
Yeah.
reality, because
Well, I
look at
think
her
they
at the end.
tried.
Look at her at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well,
they
no, I don't know. I think the makeup team does a great job at kind of really concealing Cameron Diaz's, even like to a degree, femininity. I mean, because at times she's playing around with her own gender in this film with, these ideas of body swapping, like truly trying to find herself both. Like identity is the key
yeah,
at this
that's the
film. And
whole
for
yeah.
her, it's with gender and sexuality. Ultimately she finds it just in a lesbian relationship when her and what's her name? Maxine end up
Maxine.
together at the end. But like she plays around with ideas of like, well, maybe I feel more fulfilled as a boy because I'm in John Malkovich's body and it feels great. And so like I think part of, especially for a film that came out in the late 90s, like to kind of like boyish her look almost, at least from Craig Schwartz's perspective, I
Yeah,
think
you're
almost
right.
plays into that.
Yeah. The yeah, I'm thinking of all their motivations and Maxine's a fucking psycho, dude. Like they're all
Yeah.
psychos, but she's the only one who doesn't actually go into John Malkovich. She just likes the fact that everyone is like they're able to control this guy and that's like what she's into is like him being controlled and having two people at once be into her. Like it was crazy.
Well, I think she is actually the exact same motivations as Schwartz in a sense. She, like him, gets off on the control, similar to what you're saying. It's just that she's controlling the person doing the controlling. Like
Yeah,
she knows,
exactly.
like she, and that's one of my only maybe gripes is that like I'm all for the fact that she ends up together. There is a kind of a happiness between her and
Lottie.
what Lottie.
Yeah.
But at the same time it does almost 180 some of her motivations throughout, where it feels like she was just primarily getting off the whole time on her ability to have as much control over the control that she can. She was just like, really, her character was just playing the situation throughout. I'm not saying she never showcased any more truer feelings, like, because she never says I love you really to Schwartz, I don't think, right? Like,
No.
so I'm not gonna say I guess I'm not gonna say that she never felt true love. It just feels like that's not what she was trying to get out of it. And that's not, I'm not trying to say that she couldn't still end up with that or realize, hey, this is what I wanted all along or what I want now. But definitely a majority of the film, that's not what I think is her main target, her main goal.
Yeah, it is kind of a quick switch at the end. Yeah, because the whole time she likes the control of someone being in John Malkovich's body, and it's a very sexual experience for her. And then she gets pregnant with Lottie's baby while Lottie's in John Malkovich's body, and that's kind of when she's like, "Oh, I just want you now." Like, that was kinda weird that now it's like a family thing, or like, I don't really get it, and then their baby is now the new John Malkovich pretty much.
Well, they made that clear that it's the offspring is like the new vessel because that
Right,
gets
but
to like
then
it
it's not a
like for
sexual thing anymore for her, like, now it's like a
well,
maybe
yeah,
she's
I
still
mean
in
her
control
motive. I think
technically.
I'm thinking that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think it's unfair for her motivations to have changed. It's just happens. Later in the movie. But it's not like, to give credit back to the film, it's not like there isn't ever a difference presented to us between her interactions with Lottie and John versus her interactions with Craig and John. So,
Yeah,
I do think it's kind of planted there, maybe to a bit more of a subtle degree than either of us would prefer, but I wouldn't say that the motivation change can't be justified.
and talking about that ending was fucking insane, and it was when so we talked about, the kid is now the new vessel is what they called it, like the vessel for all these hosts to kind of live through and see through. And I mean, she's probably like a couple years old at that point at the end of the movie. Years have gone by, and they reveal that Craig is inside that child looking out at Lottie and Maxine, and he's still like, I love you, look at me, like, I love you. That point was so just disgusting. Like like a feeling ran through my body like I was being watched, you know? Like it was very villainous. Like Craig never felt like a villain. He just kind of felt like someone who's making mistakes and doing the wrong thing and doing villainous things, but never the villain itself. But at that point, I was like, holy fuck, this guy's beyond help. He's a villain. He's literally like taking over a child's body now to watch these women.
Well, but he didn't take over the child's body on purpose. He's trapped there. But he didn't know, like that's what I find interesting about the ending, because the audience are privy to information that he was not in this case, because earlier when Lottie goes to Dr.
Lester.
Lester, and she was like, oh, like what's this thing with John, and he explained the whole concept and the rules and how it worked. So he knows and she knows. So now we know, but
Yeah.
Craig never hears those rules. So he doesn't know that after midnight, the vessels are going to change. And because it's an infant, and we see him in, the child when the child's like 7 years old, 8
Yeah,
years old,
something like
whatever.
that.
But we know that he tried to go in that night because he says, I'm going to go back into John and kick him out and you're going to love me
Yeah,
again. So
yeah,
he's trying
yeah.
to go back into John. He's not trying to go into the kid, but it's past midnight and he doesn't make it in time. And that's what ended up happening to him. He's trapped in there now.
I know, and
So
it's 7 years later, which is just
it does,
so gross.
it does give off very almost even like pedophilic vibes for sure.
Yeah.
And very voyeuristic vibes, no doubt. But I don't like, all I'm saying is I don't think that he was planning that. So I don't know about it being like a villainous feel for
Well,
me.
maybe he didn't mean to do that, but the fact that it's 7 years later and he's still like, I love you, Maxine. I love you. Like, I feel like he would have
Oh,
done
I mean,
that.
it shows that he's gone by that
Yeah.
point.
Like, he doesn't
Like
care that he's in this child. Like, he probably would have jumped into this child anyway, just to be
maybe
closer to Maxine, because
I'm
he's a fucking freak.
yeah, I mean, it's not totally unfair to say that he wouldn't because he is a freak, but
He's a fucking freak,
either way,
Bob.
I just think yeah, right. But I just think he's so far gone at this point,
Yeah, they're all freaks,
it's
man.
definitely, an off-putting ending. But that's what I think kind of really ties this whole film together, with the tone that it had persistent of just feeling very uncomfortable
They should have just
throughout.
had a threesome. I feel like that would have solved all their problems. One of them could have been John Malkovich, and the two, like, he's in John, the other two just like scissor each other or something. Problem solved.
Yeah, well, there was the one scene where she goes to visit,
Yeah, and they both like
at the
attacked her,
apartment. Yeah, they both were like trying to separately sleep with her at the same time
like cheat on each other with her at the same
in the
exact time.
same room.
Yeah, that
and
was crazy.
with a monkey watching.
Yeah, I forgot about the monkey, dude.
The monkey just fucking watching. Yo, what about the one scene where we get a flashback about the
I
monkey's life?
can't
That
believe we got
was
a flashback
that
of
was
the
awesome.
monkey as like he like escapes
Like
captors and stuff. Like
yeah, escaping captivity, like trying to free his parents.
that was insane. Best
Like in
character.
the moment where he was gonna free Lottie.
Elijah's the goat.
Honestly, I'd forgotten. Like I knew the monkey was in the movie, but I forgot about that scene. So that was hilarious.
Yeah,
But
that was a weird Chekhov's gun. Yeah, I was like, the monkey's obviously gonna do something. I straight up thought the monkey was gonna like rip somebody's face off. Like, nope. Like I
well,
thought some crazy
yeah,
shit
you
was
would
gonna
think
happen.
maybe like when Craig is opening to let her out, and
That's
obviously
exactly what I thought.
yeah, but there does turn out to be a twist up, you know, a shake up there. It's just that he
Yeah.
doesn't end up letting her out. You
Yeah,
know
I thought also when yeah, when he had the gun to her and he throws her in the cage in the first place. I thought
that
like
he
oh
would,
the
yeah.
monkey's gonna like grab his arm or something. I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah, that
she
would
was
have been pretty
crazy.
crazy. So I just think that this is a really awesome film. Like it totally held up for me. Like you said, the acting was great. I loved John Malkovich's performance in this. Um, you know, and just, but I was really surprised by how much everyone else's performances actually held up for me
Uh-huh.
since I had, you know, 5 years ago, because I just really had, it was Malkovich who had stuck out to me because it's such a different kind of performance that he has to give here, where he's playing a version of himself. Like, think about the studio almost. He's playing like a version of himself, a fictionalized version. But now in this, he's also got to play people kind of playing him. So
Yeah,
it's just it's a lot of mind games and acting loopholes and hurdles that I give him a lot of appreciation for. But a lot of the performances, you know, Cusack and Keener and Diaz also held up really, really well.
yeah, he had to play multiple characters pretty much. I mean, even though it's his body, it is multiple
What
characters.
about the scene where John Malkovich goes into the John Malkovich tunnel, and then it's
Yeah,
my
that was
favorite
weird.
scene in the whole movie when John Malkovich goes into the John Malkovich tunnel and he sees himself at dinner, and everyone in this fancy restaurant is John Malkovich. Like there's a woman in front of him who's got like these large breasts just like hanging out, and it's John
Nah,
Malkovich's head, and then he
seeing John
goes,
Malkovich with
you see him
fat
like
tits was
yeah,
crazy.
you see him running around, and there's like a baby John Malkovich like at one of the tables, and
The
like a
waiter's like,
few
"Would you
John
like it, John
Malkovich
Malkovich?
sits.
John Malkovich? John
Yeah, well, they're
Malkovich?"
all like Malkovich, 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 and
Yeah,
he's sitting there. He's like Malkovich,
it
and
was
that is my
insane.
favorite scene in that movie. Just because it really like kind of drives home the absurdity of just this whole concept, but also that like idea of like being watched and identity, and just so many ideas, plot threads that are being kind of tossed into this melting pot that's very much like I said. I mean, Charlie Kaufman, this is what he does, you know. And for example, he was the writer, and did he direct it? Who directed that movie? Yeah, he directed it. He was the writer and director of the movie we watched back in college, I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Oh, I did not like that movie.
But think about it. I remember loving it. I don't know if I would love it as much as I did then on a rewatch, but I do remember being a huge fan. But just think about how that was also very surreal,
It
a
was,
very
yeah.
just in, you know, kind of like abstract world and laws of reality. So, this is Kaufman's bread and butter, his niche. And I think Being John Malkovich is it at some of its best.
You know what's funny is just a personal note. The first time I ever saw John Malkovich in anything, like me not knowing who he was, it was like 2015, and he was a playable character in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Exo Zombies. And it was him and John Bernthal and like a couple other famous people. I don't remember who it was, but John Malkovich and John Bernthal were playable characters in a zombies game mode in Call of Duty. And that's how I knew who he was.
Dude, if Being John Malkovich came out in 2025, John Malkovich would be added to Fortnite.
Oh, 100%. There'd be Fortnite skins with John Malkovich's head. It'd be like a new
Yeah,
game
no,
mode.
there'd be like one, you could be Craig Schwartz like in John Malkovich, like puppeteering him, and they would
That's so
show
funny.
John Malkovich with like the puppeteer like
Shit, bro.
strings,
Send that
the
to Epic
like
Games
the
right now.
marionette puppet.
Yeah. That'd be hilarious.
Oh my god. You know what? Yeah, they even though it came out in 1999, they still would
Bring it
probably
back.
add him today.
And
They'd be
he
like,
got cut from Fantastic Four.
"He
He actually
did.
could have been in the game because they added a bunch of Fantastic Four skins to the game.
Hey, yo." Uh yeah. No, that'd be so funny.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what that reminds me of? Totally off topic, but just perfect time and episode. This is how we end up saying, yeah, chill, quick episode. Nah, bitch,
Just
3
talk about random
hours.
shit.
Strap in, guys. What do you think about this? So we talked about, like, we were just joking, like, if this movie came out in 2025, John Malkovich would, be put in Fortnite. And that's really funny and all. But, like, the
Uh-huh.
reality is, what do you think about what has become of movie press tours? It feels like in the age of social media, we have reduced the movie press tour to just being like these silly games, like Hot Ones was like the big start of it, but now it's all these games and dumb questions and like stupid scenarios. I feel like you're hardly getting authentic actual interviews about the films and the work on the films. You do get like the actors on actors round and the round tables and the things like that
Yes.
around the award season, but for the individual films, every film that comes out, it's just, oh, we're putting the character in Fortnite, and like look at one battle after another. It was very TikTok-y, right? It wasn't so much of Paul Thomas Anderson and Leonardo DiCaprio and Chase Infinity sitting down and discussing this film and really what it's about. And like I feel like a lot of it was viral moments and just dumb clipified stuff. And it just it's just I wanted to get your thoughts on that and like how this has been reduced to that and like why.
I think you worded that really well. I think there's a okay, so it's hard because my reasoning for this happening, not just to get viral clips and to have fun or whatever, I do think it's just because so many movies nowadays are like big franchises and they can't say anything about the movie itself. I mean, any new franchise movie comes out, they're not allowed to speak a word of it. Marvel, DC, Star Wars, any of those big boys, they ain't saying shit. But then you have movies like One Battle After Another when they can kind of talk about it without getting into spoilers and they can give details of who's in the movie, who's playing what character, and they still play these dumb games. And I don't love it. I like seeing the actors have fun, and it's probably a lot more fun for them sometimes than to just be answering the same question over and over again. But I have noticed in some interviews and some things where they're like, which cast member does this, or who knows each other best, or who's the most fun on set. At the end of the day, it's a job. And I saw this a lot with the Fantastic Four press tour. Sometimes they don't look like they like each other, you know? And it's weird that they're like coworkers and you're making them play all these games like they're all best friends because that's what we see on screen and that's what we expect. But sometimes you can tell that they do get uncomfortable and they just want to answer questions about the movie. So I really think it's like a toss up depending on who it is and what the movie is. I can enjoy it sometimes. If I notice they're not enjoying it, then I'm not liking it.
But to me it's even things like when they do sit down and have an interview, they'll get asked like the craziest, dumbest questions, like, "Oh, what would your characters like Call of Duty gamer tag,
Yeah, like
handle
if you could be
be?" Or
Mr.
like,
Fantastic, what would you stretch your arm to grab? Like what the fuck?
yeah, and it's just like this is you're wasting their time, you're wasting your time, you're wasting our time. I mean, obviously there are people out there who are brain rotted enough to enjoy that stuff, but I have to imagine, knowing that neither of us are like that and that there is a large group of film lovers and cinephiles out there that would agree, and that would be that no one wants to see that. We actually want to hear about the work, the process making the work, what they think about the themes behind it. And you talk about a little bit, spoilers and everything and not being able to talk about, like, isn't this all just tied to, again, the internet and this and social media
Yeah.
being the large factor of why you have spoiler issues and why you have like the hot onesification of the press junkets and the press tour for films, because it's all about, this goes around super quick, and so we want to get as many people talking about it and seeing it. um I just think that lessons should be learned. Like, for example, when Sinners was coming out, there was a 10-minute video that Ryan Coogler released of him explaining how they filmed Sinners, the different formats, the way that it could be seen, the technological changes and the scales and the ratios that he was including. It, to me, was one of the most impactful marketing, just campaigns or videos or ads that I've
I
ever
don't know if I
seen for a
saw that.
film. And I know a lot of people were talking about it, and it got people interested in saying, okay, because he's a big film lover, and knowing the difference between the different kinds of cameras and lenses, and like I said, which aspect ratio for a widescreen or a full screen and an IMAX release and a Dolby
Yeah.
and a VistaVision. And he explained it thoroughly. And I think it got people who don't know a lot about that stuff excited about learning the differences and seeing the film and the different, and it got people excited about what the thing that matters, which is film, the craft, the
And when they
story.
love what they're doing, you do appreciate it more. When you know that they love what they made and how they created it, you appreciate it more as a viewer.
And I have to imagine, though, that they felt the same way about one battle after another, and yet I feel like that's not what a lot. And again, I'm not saying that there aren't interviews out there that exist of this. I'm just saying there should be more of that. That's what people should be pushing for the majority of these press tours, and the marketing is the truth about what we're making, the work. Let the work stand for itself. I just think the virality era has been kind of detrimental a little bit to the image and the reputation of a film before it comes out.
Yeah, I have two things that come to mind. You've seen Hot Ones, right? I mean, I know you just mentioned it, but have you
Yeah.
seen? I think that is the perfect mix of it because they do have a gimmick, of course. You eat the hot wings, you get a little more uncomfortable every time, so you maybe answer more honestly or you act funny or whatever. Um, but the questions he asks are really in depth, like good. They're some of the best interview questions I've heard get asked by an interviewer in the last couple years. I mean, they are very, very well thought out questions, and they do their research. So I think that's a really great blend of getting something viral, but also caring about what you're asking. And an example of I haven't watched Jimmy Fallon in a while, but I know he used to be all about the games. He'd all be playing games. And I remember watching a video on YouTube about him doing. He was interviewing Jeremy Allen. No, not Jeremy Allen White. Jeremy Renner, Paul Bettany, and Elizabeth Olsen before Captain America: Civil War came out. And I know they can't really talk about much, but they can still talk about their characters and, where they're kind of at and maybe talk about the process of making the movie. But instead, they played Flip Cup and then they might have played beer pong too. And it's like you have these three major stars in the biggest movie of the year coming out, and they're not there for a long time. They're there for like 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is. And they're spending 5 to 10 of those minutes playing Flip Cup. And it's just weird that I saw that, and he doesn't do it as much anymore, but I saw it and I was like, this is such a waste.
It leads me down a rabbit hole when you bring up the Tonight Show, because that's obviously, like, late night television is obviously, had been for a long time, the main uh area that stars would go to market their films.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, we have seen in the last several years kind of a downtick in late night, for various reasons, of course, the death of cable in general just being one of them. Um, and I think that the Tonight Show, especially, both after the Leno Conan controversy that went down, and then, just the declining numbers and the death of the medium, or the genre, so to speak. The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon had to stay alive by adapting, and that's fine, but it kind of had to adapt itself into something that, doesn't really look like the Tonight Show anymore.
So
It's like a
goofy.
variety game show now,
Yeah.
with celebrities, with and bits, and that's fine and all, but I'd hardly call Jimmy Fallon the interviewer that Johnny Carson was, you know?
No, I mean, the fact that he has this huge show and he's not even the interviewer that Sean Evans on Hot Ones is, you know?
Yeah, and that's another point I was going to make too, before, is that Sean Evans does ask very introspective and really insightful questions, and they did nail it with Hot Ones, and I think that is also part of why you've seen the rise of the gimmick interview, because they did it so well,
Yeah,
and
they
do it
great.
so well. But elsewhere, most other gimmicky interviews don't do it well. They do it really horrible because the gimmicks are too distracting or too silly, or the questions are just very even disrespectful, almost, just in the face of an artist,
yeah.
you
Oh
know,
yeah, dude.
and downright childish, you know. And anyone who actually cares about this medium, you know, anyone who's not just into fandomship or casual, anyone who actually cares about cinema, anyone who actually really loves films for filmmaking, um, they want to learn about the process. They want to learn about the film. They don't want I mean, we can have fun, sure, but this overbearing amount of just stupidity with the gimmicks has, in my opinion, really ruined advertising for films in a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
I mean, before we move on, because this is just such a good question, but we can't, can't spend all day on it. But
Could yeah.
we definitely could. The disrespect that comes from so many interviewers nowadays too is crazy. I mean, I think they just want to be friends with these celebrities, and they start because you see them on your screen all the time. They think they are. I mean, people who comment about other people's appearances or weight or their workout routine, but like in not a classy way. It's just like they have no self awareness for like what you shouldn't be asking someone. And I don't know what it was, but it was like I don't remember who it was, but it was an interview on a red carpet, and this girl was interviewing some woman. You'd probably know her name if you saw her, but she just goes, "So, this red carpet is crazy, huh?" And the girl's like, "Yeah," and she's like, "God, we've been here all day. I'm so hungry." And then the person on the red carpet goes, "You should probably go eat then." And she goes, "Uh." Okay, she turns around, she goes, "I don't think she likes me." Like, you're an interviewer. What the fuck are you doing? Saying like, "Oh, I'm so hungry." She's like, "Okay, then go eat." And then she like walked away. It's just embarrassing. Like, what are you doing right now? You
Yeah,
just like, you're trying to be their friend. Like, be like, "Oh, I like pizza. I should go eat pizza." Like, what are you doing?
real riveting stuff. Great journalism there.
I know. They just want to be friends with them. And so they like talk to them as if it's not their job to ask good questions.
I also think, though, that part of it is that red carpets are the people. You also have to look at who's asking the questions. It's less reporters. It's obviously the decline of journalism and legacy media and traditional media as we know it. That's a whole other conversation. And in this regard, you see it reflected in the rise of influencer culture, and alternate media. And I think the people that you see at the premieres, like, you joke about like, oh, we want to get invited to premieres, and yeah, of course, but like, that's the reality of, there are a lot of people who just get invited to premieres who are trying to do this stupid shit, right? Like,
that could be us.
And it's
We'll
that
be
rise
the stupid
of
people on the red
right,
carpet.
being like, do you like hot ketchup or mustard on your hot dogs?
It's a good question. Ask Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah, real good question. Ask Bruce Springsteen. But no, I think that that rise of influencer culture that has really now come to dominate the space of premieres in Hollywood, these people are not trained in journalism. They are the ones who are just kind of get the quotes and the clickbait. And so they're not there to ask the deeper, riveting questions about the films and about the work and about the people, the collaborating even. No, they just want to ask the questions that'll get the extra views on TikTok. And
that's all they care about.
So I think that's another angle to it as well.
Yeah, we love TikTok. Follow us on TikTok at Box Office Dynasty.
So that we could get invited to premieres.
So we can go to a premiere and we can interview and ask them what their favorite ketchup topping or hot dog topping is.
Well, no, that was just something I thought of, though, as we were
that was a great
talking
question,
about it.
because that is something really.
Because you're right, though. But like, one battle
crazy.
after another. Why the fuck were we putting Bob Ferguson in Fortnite? Like, seriously, it doesn't actually make any sense.
Wait, he was not in Fortnite, was he?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even see that, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is what it's come to.
That's that's actually
insane.
hilarious.
So John Malkovich would get put into Fortnite.
That's so funny.
Uh, anyway, so that's the Bible study. Please comment numbers on the social medias.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. So we liked Being John Malkovich.
yes, yes. Where's it on your list?
It's my favorite. I gave
Really?
Get Out a 7.5, I think, and I gave this 7.8.
This is third place out of 9.
It's after Get Out and after The Great Dictator.
Yep.
Knew
Number
it.
3. Yep.
So predictable.
Number 3. Well, you know what? Some of us just wear ourselves on our sleeves. I don't know. It's not an emotion thing, so I couldn't say that.
No, you couldn't.
This is probably the latest into the episode we're ever going to do the box office numbers.
I know. It's like 45 minutes into the episode.
We're just killing time because what else are we doing this week? You know, Jack's
Facts.
seeing Bugonia tomorrow, so can't really talk about it. I have so much I'd love to talk about.
Yeah. I'll just edit in after you talk about it. I'll edit in my thoughts to what you say. So I'll record
just
it.
Splicing back and forth.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Like we're having a conversation.
Why does the background change every time? Huh,
yeah.
Well, let's get into these numbers a little bit then. These are the box office numbers from the weekend of October 31st through November 2nd, Hollow Weekend. Was not a good one for the box office. So starting in 5th place in its second weekend of release, technically, probably its first as a wide release, though. It making $4.8 million is Bugonia, actually. Speaking of which, here is the devil. In 4th place, shooting up out of fucking nowhere in its 11th weekend of release, making $5.3 million. They must have thrown this back into some extra theaters again, is K-pop Demon Hunters. It must have gotten a Halloween re-release.
Yeah, because kids are dressed up as them.
Yeah, I think it was like the 3 characters from that movie. I don't know their names. You saw it, so you might. But I think the 3 characters from that movie were like the top 3 Halloween costumes this year or something like that.
One of their names was Zoe. That's all I got.
Yeah, well, much more than I got. In 3rd place, in its second weekend of release, making $6 million, is Chainsaw Man the movie Res Arc. In 2nd place, making $8 million in its third weekend of release from Universal Pictures, is Black Phone 2. And in 1st place, in its second weekend of release, making $8.1 million, somehow, with the ratings it has, still holding on to the top box office spot, is Regretting You.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tron Ares.
No, Tron Ares is hanging out down in 8th place at this point in its 4th weekend of release. A complete and utter disaster for that film. Actually, funny enough, so Tron Ares has made $133 million worldwide. And I mean, all right, we're Regretting You at $50 million. I was kind of hoping it'd be closer just for shits and giggles. But
I heard that movie fucking sucks.
Yeah, that's what I hear. You know what's interesting about that, though, is Mason Thames. Mason Thames, who stars in that movie, has now starred in 3 films that have hit number 1 at the domestic box office in 2025, becoming the first actor at the age of 18 to accomplish this feat since Jim Carrey in 1994.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Good for him, dude.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you know, obviously Mason Thames, I'm not going to say that he is what...
I think it's Thames.
Is it Thames?
I think so.
I thought it was like Thames, because there was like a teacher in my high school who had the same last name, but it was pronounced like Thames, I think.
I think I've seen an interview. He says Thames.
Oh, well, whatever.
I just says that.
It should be Thames.
It should be.
It should be Thames.
He should fix that shit.
What, you get 3 movies number 1 in the box office and suddenly think you're hot shit?
Damn, after Jim Carrey, too? That's such a long time.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't know if it's because of Thames, you know, like when you look at what the movies are. Well, like the first movie, How to Train Your Dragon, is a franchise film.
Obviously going to hit.
The second one is a sequel that's really more of an Ethan Hawke-led film, like in terms of its marketing, its appeal. I mean, I would say he is the lead in the second one.
Yeah.
But I would say that Ethan Hawke is like when you like that
people
is like
see it for him.
Yeah. And then the third one, Regretting You, good for Mason Thames, but this is a Colleen Hoover adaptation, despite the fact that they're always rated very low for whatever reason. Colleen Hoover does have people who show out for her adaptations. So Mason Thames, though, it's first since Jim Carrey and
Good for him,
over
bro.
30 years. So
and he's great. It's well deserved.
Yeah, no, for sure. But that is the only positive that can be taken out of this box office weekend, because if a little interesting note here, Hollywood had its worst month of October in its box office in 28 years.
Damn.
It made only $425 million across the entire month with all the movies domestically. That's the lowest for an October since 1997.
Well, I think November is going to do really well. I think we kind of missed it. With September and November, we're doing pretty hot.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Halloween itself only made $49 million across the board. So this past weekend, the 31st through November 2nd, only made $49 million all across all movies domestically.
I was busy. I couldn't go.
I mean, yeah, I do think, I do wonder, obviously part of it is the fact that it's, Halloween on a Friday, but there wasn't really any big horror releases. No one took advantage of Halloween releasing on that Friday window this year, as well as the fact that, like, truthfully, the World Series plays a role in taking the audience away. It was a hell of a World Series, Game 6 and 7 falling primarily on the weekend. Game 7 for the World Series peaked at 31.5 million viewers tuning in around the world, one of the highest viewed baseball games in over a decade. So, all of these factors combined, and you have to imagine, okay, you can see how the weekend didn't do very well. And for a matter of fact, all of Hollywood in this month didn't do very well.
Yeah. Yeah, that is crazy. There's a lot of factors. But good for Mason Thames.
Yeah,
he's doing well, so that's all
he's
that
doing
matters.
well at least. No, I mean, and you're right. There's still some more big hits to come this year. You got The Running Man, you got Wicked for Good,
Frankenstein.
Well, that
it's getting a little bit theaters.
That's not that doesn't count for box office. But
there's
Avatar is
yeah.
going to be big. Zootopia 2 is going to make a lot of money.
It's going to make a shitload of money
around Thanksgiving there. So, I don't think the box office should be worried. I just think it was a surprisingly bad October, because usually October does have a few hits.
There's a new Jennifer Lawrence, Robert Pattinson movie coming out like soon, like this week, that's kind of getting swept under the rug. It's called
Dying for You?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm actually seeing that next week, but
yeah, I want to try and get that
Die My Love.
Die My Love. Okay, that's what it is. There's a lot. I'm waiting to see when Sentimental Value is going to get a theatrical release, because that's going to be one of the Oscar contenders this year.
I don't even know. I've never even heard of that.
So I'm kind of waiting on that, as well as Hamnet. That one I'm really excited for.
That one I've heard a lot about.
So
we got some good stuff to come.
I'm waiting on those, but those aren't going to be box office,
No,
hits.
but they're still gonna be good.
We're sure. I mean, Frankenstein hopefully too. There's a lot of great stuff coming out, and believe me, I'm one of the last people to say that a movie's value is solely judged on its box office, gains. I'm, just from that frame of mind, those aren't going to make a lot. I mean, hopefully they'll do well for their.
Yeah, I mean, we could easily predict what's going to make a lot of money. Like, we know Zootopia, Wicked, and even The Running Man is probably going to make a shitload of money.
Avatar,
of course.
Like,
these are like record-breaking.
The record. Will Avatar be the highest grossing film of all time? So
we'll be talking about it. Stay tuned. We'll be talking about it.
So those are your box office numbers for the weekend of October 31st through November 2nd. Hopefully everyone had a fun, safe, and spooky Halloween. but the box office didn't. Well, the box office, I guess, did have a spooky Halloween because no one went to the movies.
Haunting.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, we're gonna talk a little bit about one of those movies that came out this weekend, Bugonia. Again, it's just gonna be me. I'm gonna have to bite my tongue. Really unfortunate. There's a very interesting conversation to be had around this movie. Jack is seeing it in between the time that we are recording and the time that we are releasing. So hopefully we can go more in depth about it next week. But I did see it. I want to get some thoughts out there.
Yeah, I know it's hard to not do the spoilers. I'm sorry about that.
All right. It's okay.
I know.
Meditate, peace of mind. Let's talk about this. So Bugonia. I'll give my rating. I'll give my spoiler-free review. It's the new Yorgos Lanthimos film out, his fourth team up with Emma Stone. I give this movie a strong 9 bald heads out of 10. First of all, did you see the bald person screening that happened with this movie?
What?
So there was, in the leading up to its release, there was a whole thing going on where they were hosting a bald person only screening where if you went, they would shave your head before you saw the movie, or if you're just bald, you could go in.
Okay.
I was like, I really wanted to go.
You totally could have gone.
And first of all, I'd get a free shave. I don't have to worry about doing the work. Because some people are probably like, that's such a big deal. I remember the first time I did it. It was a huge deal. Yeah. But now it's just like, oh, great. You know,
that's life.
You're just getting it done for me. You're doing my chore and I get to see a movie. And I saw it's like, some people were like, oh, the thing that sucked is it was on the other side of the country. So obviously,
yeah, you ain't doing that.
Us East Coast baldies, we deserved our own time to shine as well. But imagine like going through the trouble of shaving your head to see this movie and then not liking it.
Yeah, dude, that'd be crazy. That'd be hilarious. They're lucky it was good, apparently.
Well, I think so. This is probably Yorgos's funniest film. It's really interesting because the film in general is like Yorgos's kind of wacky, stylized take. It's almost a satirical look on like this corporate caused pain, that's kind of put upon our families and our homes and our communities, and the pipeline that it leads towards these really, damned conspiracy theorist kind of nut jobs, so to speak.
They're out there.
And so like this film really dissects what that looks like through this story of two co-conspirators, two guys who kidnap a CEO, believing that she is an alien. And it was hilarious, a little grotesque. It was, it definitely had violent, gory elements to it. But I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was, a really interesting story. Stavros is in it,
Stavros Halkias, dude.
Fucking Stavros is in it as a cop. Is
he in it like a decent amount, or is he?
Yeah, I mean, he's a supporting character.
Okay, because I really thought he would just have a cameo.
No, he's more than a cameo, but he's not in it a lot, He's only in a few scenes. But when he's in it, it's hilarious because I'm like, his whole, the meme where it's like SpongeBob in the Silent Hill basement, and it's like the whole thing where it's like, oh, blah 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 is like plot, and then like it's just like happy-go-lucky. I don't have like a good example to give. Like,
the side plot is like the main plot is like so. Yeah,
the main plot is just whatever it is, and then the side plot is something so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's like every time Stavros just opened his mouth, you were just like, "What is going on with this guy?" I want to hear more about that. Like, how Aunt Gladys is getting her own kind of like movie prequel, whatever. From Weapons. I feel like Stavros's character could get that. From this movie.
That's the first time I'm hearing about that, but all right.
Yeah, that is something that's happening.
Oh, crazy. All right, give it to Stabby, dude. He's hilarious.
But yeah, so Emma Stone's great. I truly think, we talked about eventually ranking Hollywood duos.
Yeah.
The Yorgos Emma Stone duo is truly approaching goated levels. Like just their combination of creative genius and just almost like delusional storytelling um is just really awesome to watch. And like, Kinds of Kindness was like, it was good, but it maybe was a little unfocused at times, whatever, more being more of that three branch storytelling. But not three branch storytelling, but like the three different stories, three mini stories. But Bugonia is a lot more focused and just very satirically self-aware and funny. It has a great ending, truly an all-timer ending. I'm excited for you to see this movie. I like I said, disappointed I can't really get into more of it, but there's just it's paced well, I think. The
How's
only
Jesse
thing
Plemons? Because I love Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons is great. I think he plays that like really crazy conspiracy theorist well, and just the uncomfortable neighbor guy well. I mean, we've seen that before in Game Night.
Remember
So we know he can
in
do it.
Civil War? He
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
very, very uncomfortable scenarios. He loves putting us in uncomfortable spots.
And you know what's great? I mean, the story about Civil War with him, like not originally being even supposed to be in that movie. So like the fact that he just whipped that out, you know what I mean? Like, so
he's crazy.
He is. No doubt in my mind that Jesse Plemons is utterly just super talented, and I think he fits like Yorgos's style very well. This is a kind of movie that Yorgos Lanthimos only he could pull off, which I tend to say with all of his movies. That's how I felt about The Lobster. That's how I felt about Poor Things. Certainly, it's how I feel about Bugonia. Like, it's just the kind of stuff that he pulls off with the way that he kind of stylizes it, which is like, for example, we talked about Springsteen last week. That's the kind of thing that movie is missing, but we're framed our leads in a way, the way that Yorgos does it, that only he does it, that just, it works. It's awesome. It's entrancing almost from start to finish. I loved it. I love this
your
movie.
Favorite Yorgos movie?
No, I still like Poor Things more. I don't know if this is second or third. It's either second or third. It's interchangeable with The Killing of a Sacred Deer, which I've also seen with Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman. That movie's awesome, fantastic, very creepy. But this is right there with it. I might go rewatch it this week. Part of me wants to do that because when I went to go see it, there was a fucking couple next to me getting the freaky deaky.
No way. Like
this
full
is not
on, or what were they doing?
I'm not sitting there watching, so,
yeah, but you were listening.
It's hard not to. There's no one sitting in between. They're only a few seats away from me. That's not the first time that's happened to me. I went to go see Love Lies Bleeding when it came out last year, and that happened to me as well. I don't understand what it is with me and couples sitting in the same row as me.
They get horny when they see you. You gotta be like, hey buddy, can I get in there?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, if they're lucky the movie's interesting enough, or otherwise I'm gonna have to be like, hey man, like this guy, I paid for a ticket, One,
yeah,
gotta be a show. It's a show one way or another,
So if you guys don't stop, I'm gonna have to start jerking it.
Jeez, I don't know about that. No, I want to be allowed to come back to this AMC. You know what I mean?
Right, like fair enough. That's just a way to get them to stop.
Yeah, hey, B. Craig Schwartz is what you're saying. Truly a deranged plot, truly unhinged comedy, and just one of my favorites of the year, I think. Yeah, for sure. Also, when you log it on Letterboxd, something really cool happens, which I love. Like with Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I did love that. That's cool.
So
or like Barbie was pink, or if Star Wars has Darth Vader's helmet.
Yeah, and Everything Everywhere All at Once has like the eyeball, the googly
yeah. I love when they do that.
Yeah, so I think everyone's pretty much on top of their game. I think that this was a great release. Probably beat my expectations a little bit. And of 45 movies I've seen that have come out this year, it is currently 7th.
That's not bad. I do have high expectations for this movie, and I'm very excited to see it tomorrow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought I would be more of like an 8 range where I'd be like, yeah, this was fun. At first I was, but by the end, the last like 30 or so minutes, just really, I was like, this is awesome. I was like,
Uh-huh.
I enjoy this movie. And I just couldn't justify rating it lower. I was like, this is great stuff. So,
Awesome. I'm glad you liked it.
yeah, no, big fan. Hopefully if we have time next week, we can dive a little deeper into some of the
Yeah,
details
we could
about it.
dedicate like 10 minutes to just spoiler
Yeah.
talk. We could, I'm down because I
Yeah.
know I'm gonna love it. Like
Yeah.
everything I'm
I
hearing
hope you
about
do.
it, the
I hope
plot, I'm sure I love it.
with you it's always a question. It's
I
always a
know.
little up in the
If you
air.
liked it, maybe I'll fucking hate it. I don't know.
I never know. If I liked it, maybe you'll love it, or maybe you'll hate it, or maybe
Yeah.
you'll be somewhere in between with you. It's a crapshoot. We'll find
Yeah.
out.
Fair enough.
So that's Begonia. Highly recommend going to check it out. Please support. Probably going to be in some Oscar talks this year. We'll see.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to have the success that Poor Things did,
Get Jesse
but
Plemons his supporting actor Oscar.
yeah, we'll see. There's going to be interesting competition, but Begonia is going to be all over, I'm sure. That conversation, at least.
Yeah. Well, you know what else is coming out? Some things that are very strange. For the 5th time.
Got me feeling all upside down over here.
Stranger Things season 5 is coming out soon, and we just got a full trailer of it. Shit looks crazy. How you feeling about it?
I'm excited. Truly, this is like one of the all-time shows. I mean, it is. Stranger Things, from a cultural standpoint, belongs in that Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones conversation.
Yeah.
Because
yes,
it
dude.
it
Great
truly has just revolutionized. First of all, without Stranger Things, streaming as in general, and all the great originals that have come from streaming and the success of streaming, probably is not what we see it today. Of course, you can also go back to House of Cards was really the first one on Netflix, and fair enough. But
Uh-huh.
Stranger Things was like I mean, it broke past that House of Cards, Orange is the New Black era of Netflix originals to become kind of that cultural, like part of the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah,
And
it really is like a phenomenon.
I know the frustration. I feel all of you, the frustration of the years that are in between the seasons. It is unacceptable. It's frustrating. Part of it has been out of their control. Part of it has just been stagnation on their end. But ultimately, here we are at the doorstep of the final season of one of the biggest phenomenons on television for the last decade. The last decade. It's coming to an end. And we know the Duffer Brothers confirmed a couple things that we're going to learn. We're going to learn the truth of the Upside Down, and we're going to learn why Will was taken. They've confirmed that those two questions are going to be answered in the end by the end of Stranger Things season 5. And so, knowing all this, knowing how big this show has been over the years, knowing it's all coming to an end, and seeing that the stakes have truly never been higher based on this trailer that we're going to get into a little more of here, I am so excited.
Yeah, you could tell that Will's going to be a real focal point because he's been, pushed to the sidelines ever since season 1. I mean, he was barely in, but like he was the main catalyst of season 1. But 2, 3, and 4, he's just pushed to the side. He really seems like a main focal point in this trailer. That scene where Vecna just grabs his fucking face,
Yeah.
that was
And
crazy.
Vecna is so like menacing.
He's
now.
intimidating.
I love
dude.
the changes to the design to just kind of make him feel, like you said, more intimidating, just scary, horrifying.
Yeah, I do. When we're talking about this trailer, one of my least favorite things about Stranger Things is every season the characters are split up for like 99% of the season. You know what I mean? And you get very interesting dynamics. I mean, season 2 gave us Steve and Dustin, which is one of the best duos of the whole show. And then season 3 gave us Steve and Robin, and you get different dynamics throughout the show. But it does really, when I'm watching this trailer, you see a lot of Hopper with Eleven, and you see a lot of the boys together, which is nice, the young boys, and you see like Steve and Nancy or whatever. But I really hope that a lot of this last season is the whole group together. Steve has never even spoken to Hopper, Joyce, or Will the entire show.
Really?
Yeah, he's never said a single word to any of them. It's just like these are main characters who've never even interacted.
But Steve was definitely in season 1. I mean, Steve and Joyce are definitely like when they're all in the house there towards the end, right?
No, dude,
Steve's
Joyce
there.
isn't there. It's just
Where's
Jonathan
she?
and Nancy.
Oh, okay.
She's with Hopper getting Will from the Upside Down,
Oh,
I think.
you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Steve has never interacted with Will. I mean, maybe he's been in the same room, but he's never said a word to Will, Hopper, or Joyce. And I think that's such a missed opportunity. There's positives and negatives that come with that, but I really hope this season brings everyone together in a really fun way.
Well, it seems like it is. I mean, they made it clear in the trailer that seemed to be the case. But I mean, you're still going to have people doing their like parts of the mission or whatever. Like they're not going to all be together all the time every episode.
No, I get that.
We are getting so much content, in this season because every episode is so long. So we're getting so much of it. And so there's going to be time, hopefully, to get those interactions while they really are going to spend obviously a lot of time fleshing out the lore, rounding out the story, tying off all the loose ends. And I don't doubt that they're going to accomplish it because unlike other people, I do think every season of Stranger Things is at least good to great. Like season 2 is probably the worst, but I don't think it's bad. And season 2, part of what they did there was just giving themselves an exit ramp if the show had never made it where it did. So that's why it feels that way. But I do think that, seasons 3 and 4 have given us also, as great as 1 is, have given us some of the singular best stuff in the show.
I'm going to go first and give my ranking of the Stranger Things seasons because mine's very controversial, and then I want to hear yours, okay? If you can think of a set ranking while I'm going. So in first place, I have season 3. In second place, I have season 4. Third is season 1, and in last place is season 2. A lot of people would say season 1 is, if not the best, then it's the second best. I love season 3 and 4, man. I'm going to put those above it. And none of them are bad, like you said. None of them are bad.
It's difficult for me. I don't know if I can even say a ranking. Like, season 1 is probably the best, but seasons 3 and 4 are so much bigger. You know what I mean?
What do you enjoy?
Larger than life.
Like, what's just your personal favorite?
I don't know. I mean, I truly don't know with this show. I don't know if I have a favorite season. I just know it's not season 2. There's just different parts of seasons 1, 3, and 4 that I like, Like,
and each one has a different holiday vibe,
Right. A different almost theme to it. So,
yeah, you got
I don't know.
Christmas, Halloween, 4th of July.
It's hard to pick on the spot.
That's fair. Do you have a favorite at least? You don't have one favorite?
I mean, season 3 is really good, really good. It'd probably be 3 or 1, but
yeah, that's what most people would say. I think most people say 1 or 3, but
4
I think 3 is the best.
I mean, 4 was
4's
really
easily the
great.
Scariest.
Yeah,
and 5 is probably gonna be scarier, which I love.
I'm sure because it's gonna be the most mature season,
and
it seems.
This is the one where we always expect someone to die, but at this point it's kind of become a running gag that it's just the new characters that show up. Every season's a new guy.
This is the last season, so
exactly. And there are new characters, but they're like children, so I don't know if they're gonna kill the new kids.
You lost your opportunity to kill Max. You had it. You should have taken it. I will die on that hill, at least for now. If they can prove, maybe season 5 will prove to us why they needed to keep her alive.
Yeah, and I'm sure it will.
I'm sure we are entitled to change our opinions.
Yeah.
But I remember feeling at the time like they had just pulled the rug out from under and just like chickened out at that, when they had very obviously set her up to die.
Her and Hopper are safe because you have 2 fake outs, they're not killing them.
I don't think Will is as safe as you have said in the past because of his connection to the Upside Down now. I think it might be a sacrifice they have to make.
Wow. I think Eleven's going to sacrifice herself.
She may have to as well. But
they also did a fake out death with 11 in season 1.
But Will is literally connected, to Vecna, and that's going to be part, I think, of Vecna, what he needs from him in season 5.
I think
We've seen this throughout the past, and so even though they were trying to save him in season 1, I think we have kind of what we have seen is even though they retrieved him from the Upside Down, have they really saved Will?
Yeah, because season 2, he's got the shit in his mouth that he spits out because the mind flayer is still tormenting him.
Right, he's still being controlled, and now he's obviously got a lot of issues mentally, emotionally.
Yeah. Season 4 ends with him touching his neck for some reason, the hairs were standing on the back of his neck.
Well, because he feels he can still
senses it.
He still senses it. He still has that connection. So I don't know if he's as safe as you would have pictured him to be.
I think the goal of season 5 will be to save Will. So I don't think it's going to end with his death. I think
But I don't
we
think the
all
goal is to
know,
save Will. I think the goal is to save Hawkins
but I
at this
think that
point.
like they'll destroy, like Vecna will destroy Hawkins through Will. So to stop Vecna, they have to save Will in a sense. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, but I don't know. At that, I mean, I can see what you're saying that he's gonna have, but like, I
they
just
can't let
don't.
him die because I don't know. Maybe they will. This is all speculation, of course, but
Well, there's only one way to find out. But also, it was funny with the trailer. Like, there wasn't a lot of Steve in that trailer.
no, I noticed barely any Steven, barely any Hopper.
Yeah. So,
Um,
well, the stuff with Hopper is interesting. I mean, of course, this was already filmed, before, but I know you saw that like stuff that came out with him and
yeah,
Millie
that was
Bobby
weird.
Brown, like where she apparently filed like a harassment lawsuit, but like it's explicitly clear it has nothing to do sexually. It's just like a harassment bullying suit.
Yeah, which is like I don't know how to feel about that because obviously I don't know personally what happened, but they've been working together for years. Like, what he just started bullying her on the set of season 5.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know what.
I don't know. I mean, obviously we don't know. We can't speculate,
Yeah, like I'm
nor
not gonna
will
say
we.
she's lying or he's lying, but it's just very
All we
strange
all
that
we
that would
know is there
happen.
was an investigation,
Yeah.
and we don't know the outcome of it.
And that sucks
Um,
too. I mean, we were talking about like we assume all these people are friends, that work together, and maybe they're not, but like it does suck when you see these people. I mean, they play father and daughter, and to find out like
yeah.
there's a chance that they just actually fucking hate each other in real life, that kind of
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah, you hope that that's not true. You hope, I mean, or at least like to that extent, or, I mean, maybe it's just something getting blown out of proportion, or I don't
Yeah.
know. But, you work together for so many years and so closely, and obviously specifically they've both shared a lot of scenes together, like you've said. So,
And
um,
even this season, the only scenes with Hopper in them in the trailer are with 11. They're the only two people in the scene.
yeah.
So I feel
So
like they're gonna have a very separate thing, at least for some of the season, than the other groups.
I just wonder if they've left him out partly because they're just trying to keep it quiet. They know this is happening, and they're
Oh,
just
you
trying to
think
get
so?
to. Well, I'm speculating again.
Well,
He's just not in the trailer a lot, and
but
this comes out right after.
Noah Schnapp is in it a lot, and he's very controversial too. I don't know if
He's
they.
he's controversial because of Zionism. You think that the big bad executives at Netflix give a shit about someone liking Israel?
Yes, because I mean, no, maybe not. I don't know.
No,
Disney
no, they
Disney
don't.
cares a lot. Remember they removed that girl from Brave New World because she was Israeli. They like cut 90% of her scenes or something.
Right. They did, but that was more performative than anything because she's still in the movie. They don't
Right.
really care. You know
But
what I
I don't
mean?
know. I guess Netflix doesn't care. I don't know. I just figured he
They
is pretty
don't care.
controversial these
They
days.
don't care because of money. You know what I mean? He's controversial in the court of public opinion, but I wouldn't say he's controversial to Netflix. Whereas something legally speaking would be controversial
Yeah,
to
that's a huge
Netflix.
deal.
So that's the biggest difference
Yeah,
is
you're right.
is is where the controversy is coming from. Because I fully agree about Noah Schnapp. Don't get me wrong, but like I said, that's a court of public opinion, not a court of law. So,
Yeah, I thought maybe
um,
they'd try to advertise him being less in the season so people who don't like him and his opinions might like be more inclined to watch it. But I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know.
But I guess it's hard when so much of it is going to be surrounded around
I know.
Will
It's really he's
and
like the main guy this
his
season, it looks like.
relationship, with the Upside Down.
Yeah.
I'm very excited though. Volume 1 comes out at the end of the month around Thanksgiving, Volume 2 on Christmas, and the series finale on Netflix, and it's seemingly in theaters on New Year's Eve. That would be so epic. That would be the best way to finish this show and the year. Think about it. Like just really kind of bookending a bunch of stuff at the same time.
It's gonna be hype. You
Uh
you gotta like time it
yeah, it's good.
so you end the show on the exact like time of New Year's. So like the new year starts when the show ends.
They just blow up Vecna right at midnight or something.
Yeah, there's like fireworks and shit.
Yeah, we have like champagne in the theater. Happy New Year.
That'd be sick to rent out a theater for like that's your New Year celebration. Is like you got drinks and food and like that'd be crazy.
You see Netflix, if you just put more of your shit in fucking theaters, people will get inventive and rent out theaters and give you a bunch of money. All right?
Yeah, we give you all
We know
our
that's
money,
what you
dude.
care about, Ted. We know that's what you care about, all right?
Come on, Ted.
Anyway, so that's
sick.
Stranger Things coming out. We're going to talk a lot about it. We're going to cover each volume as they come out. I'm sure we're not going to wait till the end, that's for sure. We're going to cover each volume as it comes out in time, in real time. It's going to be great. Stranger Things Season 5.
Yes, sir. It's time to move on to our seesaw, I believe.
The end of the episode. Everybody's favorite seesaw.
Yeah, love me a good seesaw. You or me?
I don't know. How do we want to do it?
You have a government official nearby?
Well, the government is shut down right now. So Marty and Willie are not really doing anything else at the moment. Except letting people snap benefits go away. Yeah. So yeah, they're free to help out instead of doing that. You know, they're free to pick who's gonna go first. Who should we do?
I think we need to give Willie some time to shine.
Willie?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he only got 30 days in office. That's
I know. Give him his flowers.
All right. I'm gonna call it this time since you picked the coin.
Go for it.
I'm gonna say heads because
who doesn't like it?
Who doesn't like head? Tails. Ooh. All right.
Thank you, Willie. That's my guy right there. All right. So, something that I want to see because it's very quick. I'm very excited for Frankenstein. I am so hyped for the gothic type of horror. And of course, Oscar Isaac is one of the most underrated actors, I feel like, right now. Like, I just love anything Oscar Isaac is in. So, Frankenstein, shit looks dope. It comes out in like 3 days or something on Netflix. So, that's going to be awesome. Something I saw that I want to spend a little more time on, like a minute or two, is A House of Dynamite on Netflix. Have you heard of this movie?
No, that's the new Catherine Bigelow film, right?
Yeah. This movie sucks.
Rebecca Ferguson, yeah.
This movie sucks. It is all suspense and build-up with, in my opinion, no satisfying ending. It's very weirdly paced. Like, the plot is a nuclear missile is launched at the United States and they don't know where it's coming from. Very interesting plot. They have no idea where it came from. So the movie starts. I thought, oh no, it's an 1.5 hour long movie. It's going to be an 1.5 hours till the missile hits. No, the movie starts and said missile incoming 16 minutes. I was like, oh shit. It's the perspective of one character. Then there's 2 minutes to the missile. Psych, now we're going to the perspective of another character. 16 minutes to the missile. Psych, now once the missile's about to hit, nope. Perspective of another character. So they just like cock tease you the whole time, getting you to this point like, when's the missile gonna hit? When's the missile gonna hit? And I don't want to get into spoilers, but the ending sucks is all I'm gonna say. They teased Idris Elba the whole time. He's the president, but he's the main like focus of the movie, but he doesn't show up till 45 minutes into the movie. You just hear his voice most of the time. Very weird. His American accent also sucks, so I don't know why they chose him as the president. And just very boring and not entertaining. I think I gave it 2 stars on Letterboxd. So I don't know. I wouldn't watch it, but it's quick if you want to get something out there. But it's a very interesting idea, poorly executed.
That's too bad because Catherine Bigelow has made some pretty impressive stuff in the past, like Zero Dark 30. Strange Days is a great film with Angela Bassett. She did a film called Detroit. So that's too bad.
Do you care about spoilers or no?
I mean, it's on my watch list, but I don't know.
All right, then I won't spoil it. Well, I was gonna tell you the ending, why the ending sucks.
Nah, I don't know. I might watch it eventually.
I'm not gonna tell you, but the ending fucking sucks.
Yeah. So
there you go.
All right. Well, going to my seesaw, something that I'm gonna start with something that I saw first, which is the first episode of It, Welcome to Derry. The second one is also out. Ooh. It came out early on Halloween. Yeah, I didn't have a chance to watch it yet. Oh my god, it was already better than either of the. I mean, the second It film is the first one is pretty good, but this was better than either. This is going
What?
and this is, in my opinion, going to be one of the best Stephen King like adaptations that we're going to see. It's really it's taking a notch up on the visuals, the horror. I mean, it was awesome. The first episode was really great, and it is already a massive hit. It has amassed 5.7 million viewers over. That was the first episode, had 5.7 million viewers over its first 3 days. That is the third biggest debut for a series on HBO in history, behind the debut of House of the Dragon and then the debut of The Last of Us.
Yeah, I could have called those two. Wow, that's
So
huge.
this is people are loving it. I loved it. And you talk about something that feels very muted and gray. This is the opposite. There's all different kind of colors and stuff. And spoiler alert: Bill Skarsgård's not in the first episode. They already said he's not in it a lot. That's the point. Is that Pennywise is more than just that form.
Yeah,
it takes up all kinds of forms, and you see that play out, and that's scarier than just seeing Pennywise.
but I do think if he wasn't announced to be in it, and they said someone else was playing Pennywise, or Pennywise wasn't in it at all, that they would have a lot. They would have struggled a lot with those numbers. I think they would have had a lot less viewers.
It would definitely be less for sure.
Yeah,
But
so I'm glad he's gonna make some appearance in it.
You couldn't do this without Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. Like if you couldn't tell this with someone else playing it. His take on that character is terrifying. He is so good at it.
Wow, I'm glad you loved it, dude. That's hyping me up because I gotta start that.
I really want to watch episode 2 soon. Maybe even tonight. Out of this recording.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that I saw, and something that I want to see is actually a rewatch. I would love to at some point rewatch the film Chicago. I was just talking about this with my dad recently. It just came up in conversation. This is one of my favorite musical movies of all time. This is a fantastic film. It's a lot of fun. It's got some of the greatest music. I mean, I've had Cell Block Tango stuck in my head all day. I don't know if you've ever seen this or heard the music or even know what it is.
I think I've heard the music from Victorious. Remember that TV show?
Of course I remember Victorious.
I think there's like an episode where they're like, Chicago, is that?
No, that's not.
That's like a theater thing though. It's not like based on the Broadway show.
I don't even know what that is. I don't think that's actually.
All right, no, forget I said anything.
But here's an example. Do you remember the TikTok trend back in the election last year, where it was like the gun, they both reach for the gun. Do you remember that?
No.
It was like supposed to show the divisions of the two political sides or whatever, and the gun that they're reaching for is America. That's another song that's also from the musical, but it is just such a really like cool, well filmed. I mean, this was the era of John C. Reilly at his best, in my opinion, when he was doing real serious stuff. Renee Zellweger, Catherine Zeta-Jones, just a lot of fun, very atmospheric. Highly, highly recommend it. Very jazzy. Basically, just to give you I'll give you the letterbox synopsis, to get you pumped up. It's about these two murderesses, Velma Kelly and Roxy Hart, who find themselves on death row and fight for the fame that will keep them from being killed in 1920s Chicago.
1920 Chicago is a crazy cool set piece.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, and like about two murdering murderesses.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it's such a cool film. I haven't seen it in several years. I want to rewatch it.
That's cool. I love me some John C. Reilly, so.
Yeah. So that's it.
That's our episode. We made it through. We survived through it.
Yeah. We did.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. We love you, and we are excited to see you again next week.
Follow us on all the social medias, on TikTok, on Instagram, on our letterboxes, wherever. Friends and fellow film lovers, you guys know the gist.
Jizz.
And for, yeah.
you guys know the gist.
Yeah, you guys know the jizz. And hey, for the few of you that are actually still listening to us, we love you.
Damn right.